In the heart of Kruger National Park, life follows ancient and unforgiving rules. Survival here is not optional, it is a demand imposed by nature itself. Creatures that move in packs travel as a single force, unified, disciplined, and fierce. Their bond serves as both shield and weapon. Every synchronized stride, every shared glance, broadcasts a clear message across the savannah: they stand together. This collective strength commands respect, yet it also instills fear in those watching from afar. For predators, a pack represents danger. For prey, it forms a living barrier capable of withstanding even the most ruthless hunters. Within Kruger, the pride of belonging to a group can determine whether an animal lives or dies. Yet this same confidence invites inevitable challenges. Where power exists, confrontation follows. Where unity forms, conflict emerges. Beneath the relentless sun and amid the tall grass, every encounter becomes a trial, and any clash can erupt into war without warning. Which wild animal would prevail in a battle between wild dogs and hyenas? The dry season brings waves of hot air sweeping across the savannah of Kruger National Park from the moment the sun rises. After an exhausting night searching for food, many animals have already surrendered to rest. Others, however, are just beginning their morning journey to satisfy a hunger that never relents. The African wild dog has already secured its first meal of the day without fanfare or intimidating sounds, only flawless organization. They could be compared to a wilderness troop guided by absolute discipline. Watching them eat reveals a familial harmony: no fights, no chaos. Glances alone suffice for communication. This silent empathy becomes the supreme law, a serene order in an environment dominated by fangs and claws. Yet opportunists drawn to the feast are never far behind. The atmosphere grows tense like guitar strings about to snap. Does the African wild dog retreat out of fear? No. It is prudence. Every member of the pack is invaluable. Risking a life for a single meal is not in their nature. In fact, this species obtains food more efficiently than any other predator on the savannah. Meanwhile, deep inside an ancient den, exhaustion from hunger has weakened a tired mother. Her fatigue is unmistakable. The pups seem like bottomless pits. Biologically speaking, they belong to what scientists call obligate cooperative breeders. The African wild dog is in many ways the African equivalent of the gray wolf. Here, no one is abandoned. Only the alpha pair reproduces, but raising the young is a shared responsibility. A pack may gather around 40 members with 10 to 15 adults among them. It is a balanced number, enough to provide collective protection without scarcity breaking the bonds that hold the group together. Hope returns with the hunters. Unlike lions, where the dominant male eats first, adult wild dogs participate in an ancestral act, regurgitation. They bring back food, delivering the most nutritious portions directly from their own stomachs to those who stayed behind. A bond stronger than any individual force reveals itself in that gesture. Against the shadows moving across the savannah, survival becomes a collective equation. Standing ahead is the buffalo, a colossus capable of crushing any adversary with a single charge. To confront it, the pack needs more than strength, they require total agreement. Everything begins with a signal, a kind of primitive assembly. Pay attention. Do you notice that just before and during these encounters, African wild dogs begin sneezing repeatedly? This is no coincidence. Each sneeze functions as a vote, a collective biological decision. When enough votes are cast, the hunt begins. If not, the pack chooses to stay and conserve energy. A surprising form of consensus in the heart of the wild. A behavior so unusual it left many scientists astonished. But today the target changes. The group turns its attention to different prey. The wildebeest presents a far lesser challenge than the buffalo. Besides, a pack whose members weigh around 30 kilograms does not need a large quantity of meat to survive. do not expect an explosive burst of speed like the cheetahs. Here, another strategy dominates endurance. Now it becomes clear why the African wild dog achieves hunting success rates of up to 80%. Perhaps nature did not grant them imposing bodies, but it gave them something even more powerful: unity. On this savannah pack, cohesion serves as the ultimate armor, and they know their greatest advantage perfectly well. To deploy it, they need suitable weather conditions that allow them to sustain long, exhausting chases. Life reawakens under the last rays of the sun, while the pups continue sleeping deep inside the den. The caretakers, however, already feel the emptiness in their stomachs. The digestive system of the African wild dog is remarkably fast, ideal for a strategy of striking, retreating, and advancing again. The digestive process completes within 6 to 10 hours. Unlike the spotted hyena, they do not crush large bones, which keeps their stomachs light and efficient. Eating quickly reduces the risk of other predators stealing the kill and allows them to return soon with food for the pups. Today's target is one that always lives under the savannah's constant surveillance: the warthog. Do not underestimate it. The warthog is a formidable fighter armed with sharp tusks. Its system of deep burrows functions as a genuine fortress where every entrance becomes terrain riddled with deadly traps. Tension spreads through the air. Suddenly, the chase erupts amid swirling dust. The mother warthog knows well the African wild dog is not a predator that gives up easily. Once it locks onto a target, it does not stop until it catches it. At least the warthog piglets have the protection of several adults and do not depend on a single mother alone. The warthog barely reaches 50 kilometers per hour. For the African wild dog, that speed poses no obstacle. When one individual falls, what is saved is an entire family. This is how the ruthless beauty of the savannah manifests itself without disguises or concessions. The African wild dog does not specialize in a single prey. It is an adaptable hunter, always alert to opportunities, though it rarely resorts to theft like the hyena. This drive runs through the blood of every pack member, even the youngest. Did you know that each African wild dog possesses a unique body pattern? These markings appear from birth and allow pack members to identify one another from a distance during the hunt. Guided by the alpha pair, they advance through dense brush. Concentration is absolute. The target now is the impala. Observe it closely, a true masterpiece of agility. It can leap up to 3 meters high, cover 10 meters in a single bound, and execute the characteristic pronking, a proud display of strength and vitality. But here it is not about explosive speed, it is about endurance. The real test begins. This is the prey that has earned the African wild dog the title of marathon runner of the Savannah. Exhaustion reaches its limit. The African wild dog is not like the lion, which often prefers to surrender to inertia beside the river. When it chooses you, the chances of escape fall below 20%. The power of the pack is so overwhelming that even the king of the savannah thinks twice, the most skilled solitary hunter, perhaps. But facing 20 individuals coordinated with absolute discipline, the king chooses not to intervene. In this territory, individual strength dissolves before the power of unity. Remember the buffalo that the African wild dog left behind at the beginning of this story. During the dry season, these giants never stop moving in search of water, a constant movement that inevitably attracts the attention of predators. But the buffalo is a primitive force so powerful that even the lion sometimes decides not to confront it. This is the territory of Colossi, the absolute opposite of the light, disciplined army. Nearly a ton of pure muscle and a fury that knows no surrender. Under normal conditions, it remains an unattainable prey. Yet upon closer observation, an uncomfortable truth emerges: not all individuals in the herd are adults. Each African wild dog needs only between 2.5 and 5 kilograms of meat per day to survive. In that context, a calf represents far more than what is necessary. The confrontation ended sooner than expected. Perhaps the buffalo was weakened, consumed by days of relentless heat and constant thirst. The mother's hesitation is evident, as is her desperation. But that surrender was paradoxically her only option for staying alive, even if survival meant accepting the inevitable loss of her calf. Because of it, by it, and for it, everything revolves in this merciless circle of the savannah. Unlike the nearly democratic system of the African wild dog, you are now about to cross the threshold into a realm of shadows and absolute authority, the spotted hyena. Do not reduce it to the simple role of scavenger. What exists here is an inflexible hierarchy, cold and perfectly structured. A clan governed by merciless discipline and the total dominance of females. The biological reality that unfolds is astonishing. They are larger, more aggressive, and possess testosterone levels even higher than those of males. In this world, male dignity has no place. Even the lowest-ranking female stands above the strongest male. Males do not truly belong to the clan. They are temporary immigrants who must endure a life of constant trials just to be tolerated. Head lowered, submissive gestures, permanent resignation. That is the price of remaining close to the true sovereigns of the savannah. Unlike the subtle strategy of African wild dogs, the hyena has chosen a direct and brutal path to ensure its survival. Here there is no clean bite to the neck like that of the lion or leopard. Watch how they attack, rapid strikes from every angle. Legs, haunches, any vulnerable point will do. The goal is not to kill immediately, but to bleed the prey until exhaustion overcomes it, even before it understands that the end is inevitable. And to demonstrate their power, many forces of the savannah converge on the same target, the Cape buffalo. Just like African wild dogs, hyenas fix their attention on defenseless calves. Once again, a mother loses the most precious thing she has. The merciless dry season breaks the cohesion of the herd, and hyenas know how to exploit it. The smell of blood spreads and summons the scavengers. From above, the lappet-faced vulture watches patiently, but the hyena is not willing to share. It can digest everything bone skin remains, exactly like the vulture. In the end, only tiny fragments remain, which ants proceed to erase completely. Nature in silence crosses another name off the race for life. What you have before you is one of the most efficient survival machines evolution has ever created. The path of the spotted hyena begins within its own body. Its interior houses a true biological forge with extraordinarily high levels of stomach acid. Thanks to this, it can digest what would make almost any other animal recoil. Compact bones, horns, hooves. But before reaching the stomach, its primary weapon comes into play, an enormous bite that can reach up to 7,500 newtons of pressure. Yet even this survival machine carries a hidden cost. Dominant females possess a unique anatomy. A genital organ known as a pseudopenis, which is actually an elongation of the clitoris. This characteristic turns giving birth into an extreme ordeal. Cubs must pass through a long, narrow canal which dramatically raises mortality among first-time mothers. It is the price of absolute power. Female dominance within the clan demands severe sacrifices, and among females the struggle never stops. Here, authority is not born from collective agreement but from total submission. In the kingdom of the spotted hyena, the queen rules with firmness and severity. The boundary between leadership and tyranny is fragile. When oppression crosses that line, the clan responds in only one way: together. Against collective force, even the queen can become just another prey. But whoever manages to seize the crown will see her true instinct for domination emerge. Do you expect to find fairness in the distribution of food as happens among African wild dogs? Not here. The dominant female eats first, then her cubs, and the rest learn to wait. Tyranny imposes harsh rules to ensure the continuity of the next generation. This is how the throne is maintained over time. Even so, Tragedy lurks in the darkness of the dens. There is no male protection, no shared caregiving. The mother remains alone, hunter and guardian at the same time. Her absence opens the door to chaos. Cruel, painful, but inevitable. It is natural selection in its most ruthless form. The pain is left behind when the sun begins to descend. The golden hour of the hunt arrives, but today that mother has made a different decision to claim the efforts of others. And on the savannah, the most exposed prey carries an inevitable name, the cheetah. The gaze becomes rigid, concentration absolute. The body flattens against the ground, shoulders brush the earth, the head holds steady while the back arches. Everything is ready for detonation. A golden flash crosses the plain at a speed impossible to follow with the eye. Capturing prey is not the problem. Keeping it, that is a matter of life and death. The great sprinter retreats. Speed comes at a high cost, lightweight bones, non-retractable claws for gaining traction. Too fragile against jaws designed to crush bones. Here, even a minor wound can be a death sentence. And that sentence does not reach only adults. It also hangs over the cubs. Another mother watches from a distance, satisfied, almost mocking the fear of others. But the savannah is made of ironies. From the shadows emerges a dominant silhouette. The king does not need to roar. The message is clear. The one who stole is now the prey. Absolute power imposes its law upon everyone. Even so, the spotted hyena is not a creature that surrenders easily. Nearly 90% of its food comes from its own hunting. But when it decides to act as a raider, no force can stop it against solitary predators. The savannah watches in silence. Here no one is safe for long. Can you guess its name? The leopard, lord of the heights. Even when the trees no longer offer shade, it prefers to observe from above, patient and invisible. Its metabolism is slow. It does not need to confront enormous prey. The impala before it is more than enough. It only needs to avoid the sharp horns. But that calculation shatters the instant a wild cackle cuts through the air like a declaration of war. Now the real hunt begins. And this is no fragile cheetah. This is an elite fighter. Dense muscles, retractable claws, always ready for combat and climbing. In its territory, it also rules. And a king does not tolerate humiliation. A single moment of distraction proves fatal for the hyena. The raider watches helplessly from the base of the tree. Its body is built for endless pursuits across the ground, not for climbing. Losing a kill is bad enough. Losing it twice is an unacceptable affront to the Queens of Darkness. Honor must be restored, and the next target will be sufficient to achieve it. A queen can only measure herself against true kings. As the dry season devours everything in its path, the hyena is fully aware of how many lions are struggling to survive. For lionesses, hunting under these conditions becomes an almost impossible task. And that is where the cunning of the hyena reveals itself. Without the presence of the dominant male, the balance tips entirely in favor of the nocturnal raiders. It is no coincidence that during the dry season, the hunting success rate of lionesses falls below 25%. That single episode is enough to restore lost honor. The Queen of the Night has defeated the Queen of the Savannah. Today, this will be the event everyone talks about. The Savannah observes these thefts with absolute indifference. Each dry season brings new confrontations. But one of the cruelest and most dramatic chapters of this natural chronicle belongs to those who adapt best to hunger. Numerous armies driven by necessity formed in record time. Spotted hyenas always on the prowl. African wild dogs in constant vigilance. Nature granted them opposing weapons for an inevitable clash. The hyena with a jaw capable of pulverizing bones and devastating individual strength. The African wild dog with the strategy of unity and coordinated bursts of speed. And sometimes neither is truly prepared for the trial this merciless world imposes upon them. Hunger leads this mother to the feast of what may be the most powerful army on the savannah. But this time the calculation fails. The dry season suffocates everything. There is no longer room for concessions. The deadly circle closes. The spotted hyena weighs twice as much, but the cohesion of the pack is invincible. The hyena's reaction proves too slow against the unpredictable agility of its rival. Then the arbiter enters the scene. No one understands why the lion would intervene in favor of its greatest enemy. Only nature knows the answers to these wild enigmas. The mother manages to escape, but she returns carrying something worse than wounds the shame of the clan. The most aggressive members do not forget the affront. This time, the army of light skirmishers faces a battalion of heavy mercenaries. The brutality of plunder collides with absolute discipline. The African wild dog moves as a single entity, and therein lies the true secret of collective battles. Why does the smaller prevail over the giant? The answer lies in strategy encirclement from multiple fronts and attacks in rotation. Science explains it clearly. A constant rhythm of charges drives the hyena to exhaustion through overheating. A powerful heart inside a heavy body ends up becoming a burden, two sides of the same coin of survival. No creature is free from weaknesses, not even the African wild dog. And now the end of the dry season approaches. With it, the ideal setting for many battles begins to fade. The revenge of the spotted hyena must come sooner. She knows the pack of African wild dogs will not fall to hunger. They hunt better than any other predator on the savannah, but not everyone shares that advantage. For the leopard, the dry season has made the art of ambush even more difficult. Hunger pushes it dangerously close to the food sources of the African wild dogs. There were no deaths, but one of the unfortunate wild dogs suffered an injury to its leg on the savannah that amounts to a death sentence. Nothing remains hidden for long. The hyena heard the news, and she will not forget the face of the unfortunate one. If not for the presence of the entire pack, its fate would already be sealed. The hyena savors the pain of others. That is her cruelest revenge, not theft. Every individual is an essential piece. And now one of the gears has broken. While the others search for food, perhaps the hyena will leave behind a bone. A gesture of farewell, or a mockery directed at those who dared to challenge the nightmare of the savannah. The war between the African wild dog and the hyena is not merely a conflict of strength. It is a constant battle against shared hunger. Everything unfolds under the watchful gaze of the lion, the only undisputed sovereign of the savannah. But even a king's life is far from simple. When dawn brings a new day, the weight of dominion falls once again upon his shoulders. He is no longer young, nor does he stand at the peak of his splendor. He does not fight out of impulse or personal hunger. He fights for lineage, for territory, for legacy. Calm is never permanent. The guardian must face a constant threat, ambitious young males. Around 3 years of age, males are expelled from their own pride and condemned to wander in search of a kingdom of their own. Along the way, they form coalitions. Now they return as confident invaders, driven by the strength of youth and an arrogance that often surpasses experience. Ruling demands clear rules. Unlike the world of hyenas, where leadership can change without the system collapsing among lions, the fall of the dominant male is usually an irreversible sentence. When the king falls, the entire kingdom crumbles. And when a new coalition takes control, one of the cruelest chapters of the savannah begins. The new males eliminate any trace of the previous regime. Without a father to defend them and with a mother unable to oppose brute force, the cubs become victims. From a biological standpoint, infanticide serves a ruthless but effective function without nursing. the lioness enters estrus more quickly. Thus, the victors can begin imposing their own genetic legacy. The lioness does not possess the dominant strength of the male, but she possesses extraordinary intelligence. To avoid conflicts within the coalition over breeding rights, she adopts a surprising strategy. She becomes insatiable. She may demand up to 300 copulations in just 3 days. By mating with all the dominant males, she creates deliberate confusion about paternity. When the cubs are born, each male believes he is the father, and together they protect the family. The cycle repeats with almost perfect precision. Every sacrifice is a note within an ancient symphony, where balance is maintained under unbreakable laws. After the ghosts of the old empire, a new dawn rises. The lioness's warriors, reborn from the ashes, must carry on. They are tireless hunters responsible for sustaining an entire kingdom. Their bodies are genuine living weapons. Without a heavy mane, they dissipate heat efficiently, and their coats blend perfectly among the dry grasses. Why the zebra? Because it offers exceptional levels of protein and fat, enough energy to sustain the pride for days. But the risk is enormous. A single kick from its legs can shatter the jaw of any predator. Silence breaks with an explosion of force. Collective weight overwhelms the striped giant. The hunt concludes. Sacred order is restored. The male eats first. It is not privilege, it is biological necessity. He must receive the greatest energy load to preserve the strength that makes him the most solid wall against hyenas and invaders. The savannah falls silent after the storm. The rhythm of renewal begins. You stand before the moment when life emerges from darkness. The lioness guardian of hope. Cubs barely a week old. This is the most fragile moment of all. The strategy is now clear. Change dens every 3 or 4 days. Erase any trace of scent. All to prevent death in the form of the spotted hyena from finding the hiding place. At 3 weeks, the first milk teeth begin to appear. Mobility increases. And so do the dangers. Responsibility weighs upon both parents. Sometimes the lion must go out to hunt while the lioness still recovers from giving birth. And so the cycle continues, cruel, perfect, eternal. Many see the lion as an authoritarian and vain figure. But from another perspective, he is a true pillar sustaining the balance of the kingdom. At 6 weeks of age, the cubs officially enter the nursery of the Savannah. This marks the beginning of allo-suckling, an extraordinary social behavior based on an almost sacred form of cooperation. Milk is shared and alliances are strengthened even among cubs who are only distantly related. After days hidden from the outside world, the young finally meet their father, the presence before which the entire Savannah bows. But this territory is not merely a refuge. It is a relentless school where the hunter's instinct is forged. Here, every mistake transforms into learning. Every clumsy leap is another step toward the throne. Observing these small lives, the design of the Creator becomes evident. The mother was granted the endurance needed to protect the offspring, the bond that will make dominion possible. From choosing the hiding place to the act of sharing milk, every gesture answers to an ancient and immutable law. The wild savannah is governed by a harsh rule: survive between domination and submission. This is how this world without concessions operates. If you ever find absolute calm in some corner of this primitive fortress, there is only one possible explanation: life has already been extinguished there. Because every being that still breathes leaves its survival instinct engraved upon every inch of this land. When the dust finally settles in Kruger, the scars of battle remain visible. The packs continue moving forward, standing tall, carrying not only their strength, but also the weight of every confrontation overcome. Here, pride is not born from violence, but from resilience, from the ability to remain united against the constant chaos of wildlife. The fear these creatures inspire is not without reason. It is the result of generations that learned survival is built shoulder to shoulder, defending every territory, every cub, and every breath of life. In Kruger, a pack does not merely occupy space, it commands presence. Yet even the most powerful groups know that nothing lasts forever. Today they dominate, tomorrow they may fall. That is the silent lesson of these lands. Collective strength can tip the balance, but nature never guarantees victory. Each dawn brings a new challenge, and every step forward is a wager against the inevitable. Across the African savanna, nature reveals its most raw and unforgiving side. This immense land, shaped by relentless sunlight and extreme seasonal changes, conceals countless dangers for every creature that calls it home. Life here exists on the edge, and each sunrise brings a new challenge to those fighting to stay alive. Within this harsh environment, some of the world's most formidable predators rule the savanna in very different ways. Some rely on strength and teamwork, while others depend on speed, stealth, or remarkable patience. Their methods turn the open plains into a constant battleground, where a single mistake can mean the difference between life and death. Chases are intense, encounters unavoidable, and every hunt reflects nature's strictest rule. Survival belongs to those best adapted. The African savanna is more than a place, it is a living world, where survival is forged through endurance, instinct, and determination. a wild realm where life and death move side by side, shaping one of the most powerful and dramatic stories in the natural world. As twilight settles over the Serengeti Savannah, the deep roar of an adult male lion echoes across the plains, projecting an unmistakable sense of dominance. This sound is more than a territorial warning. It is a powerful announcement of one of nature's most iconic symbols of strength and balance. With a muscular body weighing between 130 and 190 kilograms and stretching up to 2.4 meters in length, the Serengeti lion survives and thrives within an ecosystem that is both demanding and remarkably diverse. The landscape, shaped by vast grasslands, scattered shrubs and wide open spaces, provides ideal conditions for this great predator. In areas such as Ndutu, ongoing conservation efforts have led to encouraging signs of population recovery. Lion prides inhabiting the southeastern plains often display a well-defined social structure, typically consisting of around 10 to 15 individuals. In some cases, prides may grow to include 20 or even 30 members, but most are formed by one or two dominant males, several adult females, and their offspring. Females are primarily responsible for hunting and caring for the cubs, while males focus on defending the territory and protecting the group from external threats. Living in a pride not only increases hunting efficiency but also strengthens defense against rival lions and competitors like hyenas. However, this social lifestyle comes with constant tension, both from outside rivals and within the pride itself. A dominant male may control a vast territory, using his roar audible from several kilometers away to signal his authority. Power struggles between males are often fierce and play a crucial role in shaping the genetic strength of the pride and the survival of future generations. as the only truly social big cat. Lions have evolved complex cooperative hunting strategies to improve their chances of success. Their primary prey includes zebras, wildebeest, and occasionally buffalo. Despite their impressive strength, hunting success rates remain relatively low, averaging around 30%, as they often confront large and resilient animals capable of strong resistance. During a hunt, lionesses work together with remarkable coordination, using tall grass as cover while approaching from multiple directions. Once close enough, they launch a sudden attack, usually targeting isolated or weakened individuals. When confronting massive prey such as buffalo, males often join the effort. Their size and power allow them to subdue animals that females alone might struggle to bring down. A single large kill, like a buffalo, can feed a pride of more than 10 lions. The dominant male eats first, followed by other adult males, then the females, and finally the young and cubs. This feeding order clearly reflects the hierarchy and social structure that governs life within the lion's realm. Inside the den, spotted hyena cubs enter the world in a way unlike most predators. They are born with their eyes already open and teeth fully formed, alert and aware from the very first moment. This early development is no coincidence. It signals a life that begins with competition, even among siblings. Survival is not guaranteed. Silent confrontations emerge almost immediately, as each cub struggles to secure its place within the unseen hierarchy that governs the clan. Daughters born to high-ranking females inherit a clear advantage. They nurse first, receive greater protection, and are treated with priority from the start. Cubs born to lower-ranking mothers face a far harsher reality, forced to compete fiercely for access to milk and warmth. This imbalance can be deadly, and in some litters, only a single cub survives the early weeks of life. This extreme behavior, known as sibling rivalry, is not driven by cruelty but by an uncompromising process of natural selection. Hyena milk is exceptionally rich in nutrients, yet produced in limited quantities. Competition within the den ensures that only the strongest and most resilient cubs gain access to this vital resource. In fact, hyena milk ranks among the most nutritious found anywhere in the animal kingdom. The spotted hyena's body is the result of thousands of years of precise adaptation. Compact and powerfully built, it displays a distinctive asymmetry, longer front legs and shorter hind legs, creating its unmistakable sloping posture. Far from a flaw, this structure provides stability and strength, allowing hyenas to maintain speed and balance during long pursuits across uneven terrain. Unlike big cats that rely on short bursts of explosive speed, hyenas are endurance specialists. They do not sprint, they persist. Their hunting strategy is built around stamina, chasing prey until exhaustion takes over. The muscular strength concentrated in their front limbs supports one of their most formidable tools, a powerful bite. Spotted hyenas possess one of the strongest bites among land carnivores, with jaw pressure capable of exceeding 1,000 psi. This allows them to crush bones with ease. Their thick, resilient skin acts as natural protection, while their non-retractable but tough claws provide traction and control during extended chases. Their senses are equally refined. Smell, hearing, and night vision operate with remarkable precision. A carcass kilometers away or a faint sound hidden in tall grass rarely goes unnoticed. On the Savannah, the hyena's body is more than a means of movement. It is a survival system engineered to endure extremes where many others fail. In this landscape, where danger lies hidden among golden grasses, hunting is not simply about strength, but about method. Few species demonstrate this better than the spotted hyena. Far from being reckless scavengers, they are calculated, patient, and highly organized hunters. Every movement has purpose. Every pursuit follows a plan. Unlike big cats that favor ambush or solitary attacks, hyenas operate as a coordinated unit. When potential prey is spotted, they do not rush in. A small group approaches cautiously, testing reactions and identifying weakness. They observe closely, searching for the slowest, most fatigued, or least alert individual. Once vulnerability is detected, the entire clan becomes involved. Communication is subtle but exact: a shift in posture, a glance, a tail movement. Each member understands its role. Some advance, others flank, while the rest block escape routes. The hunt unfolds like a carefully timed sequence, pushing the prey to its limits. There is no hesitation. The goal is not just capture, but exhaustion. In endurance, few predators can compete. Where a cheetah must abandon the chase after a brief sprint, the hyena continues, covering distance relentlessly. These pursuits can last many minutes and often end in the clan's favor. When the prey finally stumbles or makes a single mistake, the outcome is swift. Each successful hunt sustains the clan, reinforces social bonds, and confirms the hierarchy that holds the group together. Hyenas are equally effective when encountering remains left behind by other predators. Their digestive system is a remarkable evolutionary achievement. Extremely acidic stomach fluids allow them to break down bones, hooves, and decaying organic matter that would be dangerous for most animals. Where others risk illness, hyenas feed safely. This resilience plays a vital ecological role. By consuming carcasses that could otherwise spread disease, hyenas help prevent outbreaks among herbivores and other carnivores, contributing to the overall health of the savanna. For centuries, hyenas have been unfairly portrayed as cowardly or deceitful, cast as villains in folklore and modern media alike. This distorted image overlooks the reality of an animal that represents one of nature's highest levels of adaptation and efficiency. A perfect example is their so-called laughter, a sound often misunderstood as mockery. In truth, this distinctive vocalization is part of a sophisticated communication system. It conveys excitement, stress, fear, or warning. Researchers can even identify individual hyenas by their calls alone. The pitch and rhythm reveal age, identity, and social rank, functioning like an acoustic signature. Another persistent myth claims that hyenas survive only by stealing food from others. Scientific studies tell a different story. In many regions, more than 60% of their diet comes from their own hunts. In terms of hunting success, they often rival and sometimes surpass lions and leopards, proving that the spotted hyena is not a scavenger by necessity, but a master survivor by design. There is also the long-standing accusation of cowardice. But anyone who has witnessed a group of hyenas standing their ground against a lion knows how far from the truth that is. They do not rush in blindly. Every move is deliberate. And when numbers are on their side, they become an almost unstoppable force. Under the harsh glare of the midday sun, the savanna offers no shadows to hide the outcome. The lioness has secured her kill, but the struggle is far from over. The hyenas arrive openly, in full daylight, advancing with purpose and discipline. At the front stands the clan's matriarch. She does not attack impulsively. She watches, she measures. With a single glance, the formation shifts. The head is contained, the rear is sealed, the circle tightens. The lion possesses raw strength. The hyenas possess numbers and the ruthless efficiency of coordinated tactics. Their jaws deliver crushing power, enough to break resistance as much as flesh. In this moment, the balance of power on the savanna shifts. Because in the wild, dominance is not always claimed by the largest or the strongest, but by those who are best organized, most disciplined, and most united. In the Ndutu region, the cheetah finds an environment close to ideal. Low vegetation and wide open plains perfectly suit its hunting style. These grasslands, lying at an average altitude of around 200 meters above sea level, support large populations of herbivores such as Thompson's gazelle, Grant's gazelle, and blue wildebeest, the primary foundation of the cheetah's diet. With a hunting success rate approaching 50%, the cheetah outperforms many larger predators, including lions, whose success rate is closer to 30%. This advantage comes from careful prey selection. Rather than targeting the strongest animals, cheetahs focus on smaller, more vulnerable individuals. Hunts usually begin at very short distances, often less than 60 meters, dramatically increasing the chance of success. Once a target is chosen, the cheetah launches an explosive chase, locking onto animals that lag behind or show signs of weakness. Accelerating from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in just seconds. It is the fastest land animal on Earth. This extraordinary speed is the result of a body built almost entirely for velocity. Long legs and powerful muscles generate immense thrust, while the cheetah's extended tail acts like a rudder, maintaining balance and enabling sharp turns at high speed. Its semi-retractable claws function like running spikes, gripping the ground for maximum traction. A lightweight skeleton further reduces resistance, allowing unmatched speed over short distances. These chases are brief by necessity, rarely lasting more than 30 seconds. Sprinting at full speed consumes enormous energy, and once a kill is made, the cheetah must eat quickly or drag its prey to cover. Larger competitors such as hyenas and lions can easily steal the carcass if given the chance. As a result, the cheetah must remain constantly alert, not only an elite hunter, but also a cautious one. By preying on smaller herbivores, it helps regulate gazelle populations, preventing overgrazing that could damage the landscape. At the same time, leftover remains provide food for scavengers and secondary predators, reinforcing the balance of the food chain. The cheetah's presence is essential to the ecological stability and biodiversity of the Serengeti. Yet today, it faces serious threats. Habitat loss, increasing conflict with humans, and intense competition from other predators have driven a troubling decline in cheetah populations, placing one of nature's most specialized hunters at growing risk. Another sound joins the soundscape of the savannah, the sharp, sneeze-like call of the African wild dog. The fragile status of this species reflects the intense pressure caused by habitat loss and direct competition with dominant predators such as lions and spotted hyenas. Once widespread across much of Africa, including the Serengeti, African wild dogs suffered a dramatic decline. By 1992, they were declared locally extinct within Serengeti National Park, largely due to poaching, disease, and relentless rivalry with other carnivores. With a lean, athletic body weighing between 20 and 30 kilograms and standing roughly 75 centimeters tall, the African wild dog is built for endurance. It can travel up to 12 kilometers a day in search of food while avoiding danger. What truly sets this species apart, however, is its remarkably strong social structure and an extraordinary level of cooperation within the pack. Packs typically consist of 6 to 20 individuals, though only a single alpha pair reproduces. This tightly organized hierarchy and deep sense of unity allow them to overcome challenges that solitary predators could never face alone. The strongest members not only lead the hunt, but also help care for pups and share food with injured or weakened packmates, ensuring the survival of the group as a whole. The hunting strategy of the African wild dog relies on stamina, coordination, and teamwork. Capable of reaching speeds of up to 70 kilometers per hour, they can sustain a fast pace over long distances, making them among the most relentless hunters in the animal kingdom. Their approach is highly adaptable. Some individuals drive the chase, while others flank or cut off escape routes. Rather than relying on ambush, they pursue their prey until it is completely exhausted, a method especially effective in open landscapes like Ndutu. Thanks to their flawless coordination and careful prey selection, African wild dogs can achieve hunting success rates of up to 80%, far surpassing many other predators. In doing so, they play a crucial role in controlling herbivore populations, preventing overgrazing and protecting the savanna's vegetation. The remains of their kills also serve an important purpose. Scavengers such as vultures and jackals depend on these leftovers, helping recycle nutrients back into the ecosystem. In this way, the African wild dog contributes not only as a hunter, but as a vital force in maintaining the ecological balance of the African savanna. The Nile crocodile is a colossal reptile, capable of reaching lengths of up to 6 meters and weighing more than 900 kilograms. It stands as one of nature's most striking examples of endurance and adaptation in an unforgiving environment. The river is not only its refuge, but also a relentless hunting ground, especially during the rainy season, when millions of wildebeest surge across the water as part of the Great Migration. Shaped by millions of years of evolution dating back to the Jurassic era, this ancient predator is equipped with immensely powerful jaws, thick armored skin, and the ability to remain submerged for extended periods. Along the western corridor of the Serengeti, where the Grumeti River winds through the savanna, the Nile crocodile finds ideal conditions. Freshwater offers protection, While the endless flow of migrating herds provides a reliable source of food, the muddy riverbed and dense vegetation along the banks form perfect ambush sites. The relatively stable water temperature helps the crocodile regulate its body and conserve energy for the decisive moment. As migration begins, the river becomes a natural barrier. Crocodiles lie hidden beneath the surface, revealing only their eyes and nostrils, waiting patiently for the exact instant to strike. Their muscular bodies generate a bite force that can reach up to 5,000 psi, among the strongest ever recorded in the animal kingdom. Using the infamous death roll, they tear apart their prey with devastating efficiency. Each migration season, crocodiles in the Grumeti River kill thousands of wildebeest, playing a critical role in the food chain. Even so, the majority of the herds, nearly 60%, manage to cross the river successfully. The Nile crocodile is a true master of survival. It can go months without feeding, relying on stored energy to endure periods of scarcity. This ability, combined with physical resilience, flexible movement, and an exceptionally tough hide, allows it to withstand extreme conditions that would overwhelm most predators. As an apex predator, the crocodile helps regulate populations of large herbivores such as wildebeest and zebras, preventing overgrazing and protecting vegetation. The remains of its kills sustain a wide range of scavengers, ensuring the continuous flow of energy through the ecosystem. Its presence not only preserves balance, but also supports biodiversity throughout the region. Yet the Grumeti River is not ruled by crocodiles alone. It is also home to another dominant force, the hippopotamus. This massive semi-aquatic mammal plays a unique and influential role in the ecological structure of the Serengeti's western corridor. Weighing more than 1,500 kilograms, the hippopotamus is the third heaviest land animal on Earth, Unlike elephants or rhinoceroses, it combines a seemingly calm demeanor with unpredictable aggression, creating a powerful impact on its surroundings. Its evolutionary history is closely tied to both land and water and stretches back millions of years. Despite appearances, hippos are closely related to whales and dolphins, sharing a common ancestor from around 55 million years ago. Over time, they developed key adaptations for life in freshwater: short but incredibly strong legs that allow agile movement, and thick skin that protects against intense solar radiation. Their range extends across much of sub-Saharan Africa, primarily in rivers, large lakes, and wetlands. In the Grumeti River, hippos gather in deep, slow-moving sections, where cool water helps regulate body temperature and safeguard their young. This same river also serves as a migration route for countless species, especially during the massive movement of wildebeest. By carving pathways through dense vegetation, hippos help maintain water flow, particularly during the dry season. Although they share the same habitat, the relationship between hippos and Nile crocodiles is often tense and competitive. With massive bodies and canine teeth that can reach up to 50 centimeters in length, a hippo can deliver devastating attacks when it feels threatened, especially when defending its territory or offspring. However, in the absence of direct provocation, both species can coexist in the same waters without constant conflict. Hippos live in groups with a clear social structure, typically consisting of a dominant male, several females, and their young. These groups may include up to 20 individuals. The dominant male asserts control by opening his jaws to display his tusks, or by releasing powerful warning calls that echo across the river. Although they spend most of their lives in the water, confrontations between male hippos over territory or access to aquatic resources can be extraordinarily violent, often resulting in severe injuries and, at times, death. Despite their aggressive reputation, hippos are strictly herbivorous, consuming an average of around 40 kilograms of grass each day. They typically leave the water at night to graze, moving along riverbanks or venturing deep into the savannah. The paths carved during these nocturnal journeys serve more than their own needs. These natural corridors become travel routes for other species, from small mammals to major predators such as lions and leopards. The presence of the hippopotamus is essential to ecological balance. Its waste, released directly into the water, delivers large amounts of nutrients into freshwater systems, fueling the growth of microorganisms and small aquatic life. This nutrient input supports fish and invertebrates, helping sustain a healthy and functioning food web. At the same time, the constant movement of hippos disturbs soil and vegetation, creating conditions that allow new plant life to emerge. For migrating herds, the dangers do not end after crossing the Grumeti River, a landscape shaped by Nile crocodiles and the imposing territorial presence of hippos. Of all the formidable predators of the African savanna we've explored, which one left the strongest impression on you? Let us know in the comments below. High above the western corridor of the Serengeti, soaring over the Grumeti River, a silent presence dominates the sky. With its vast wings fully extended, the Ripple's vulture glides effortlessly, watching over the wilderness below. In an ecosystem shaped by constant competition and sudden change, this species plays a vital role in maintaining ecological balance. Renowned for its unmatched efficiency as a scavenger, the Ripple's vulture is essential to keeping the Serengeti clean and functioning. As a member of the Old World vultures, it possesses biological adaptations perfectly suited to its task. Its long, featherless neck allows it to reach deep into carcasses without fouling its plumage, while a strong, hooked beak easily tears through flesh. With a wingspan reaching up to 2.6 meters, it can soar for hours, covering vast distances while expending very little energy. This ability is especially valuable across wide, dry landscapes where food sources may lie many kilometers apart. Along the western corridor, particularly near the Grumeti River, Ripple's vultures find abundant nourishment in the remains of large animals such as buffalo, wildebeest, and zebras. During the Great Migration, many animals fail to survive the river crossing, leaving their bodies along the banks, where vultures gather to perform their role as nature's cleanup crew. Sandbanks and calm stretches of water become key feeding zones during migration season. The species is also famous for its extraordinary flight altitude, holding the record for the highest flight ever recorded for a bird up to 11,300 meters. With exceptional eyesight, these vultures can spot a carcass from more than 6 kilometers away and reach it quickly. A group of Ripple's vultures can strip a wildebeest carcass clean in as little as 30 minutes, preventing the spread of dangerous bacteria and diseases such as anthrax or pasteurellosis. Despite their importance, they face intense competition for food from lions and hyenas. Once these predators abandon a kill, the vultures move in, using their powerful beaks to make the most of what remains. Their highly specialized digestive system allows them to neutralize harmful bacteria and toxins found in decaying flesh, a rare ability in the animal kingdom. Yet their contribution goes far beyond carcass removal. Through the breakdown of organic matter, vultures help return nutrients to the soil, improving fertility and supporting the growth of grasses and shrubs. This process is especially critical in the western Serengeti, where healthy grasslands are essential for sustaining the massive migratory herds. Despite their ecological value, Ripple's vultures are experiencing a worrying population decline. Conservation efforts within the Serengeti now focus on protecting migration corridors and raising awareness among local communities about the crucial role vultures play in preserving the health and balance of the natural world. And so, the African savanna carries on its endless story of life and death. Beneath burning skies and across vast open plains, silent struggles unfold each day, where instinct, experience, and endurance determine the fate of every creature in this unforgiving land. These hunts, often harsh and unrelenting, are not merely displays of brutality, but expressions of a self-regulating natural world in which every species plays an essential role in maintaining balance. To witness this wild realm is also an invitation to understand and respect it. Protecting the African savanna means safeguarding a living chronicle of life in its purest form, ensuring that these powerful scenes continue to exist and remind us of the true meaning of survival. Across the immense plains of the African savanna, silence rarely means peace. Beneath the relentless sun, the tall grasses sway gently. Yet every subtle movement carries a warning. As a coalition of lions advances with calculated stealth toward a formidable herd of Cape buffalo, a quiet question lingers in the heat of the air. Is this still a place of refuge, or has it already become a battlefield? In this unforgiving landscape, even the smallest step can ignite a confrontation. Lions move like patient tacticians, studying the terrain and searching for the faintest sign of vulnerability. The buffalo, powerful walls of muscle crowned with sweeping horns, stand their ground with unyielding resolve. As predator and herd face one another, tension thickens the air. There is no room for hesitation and no opportunity for mistakes. On the African savanna, survival is earned through strength, instinct, and decisions made in the blink of an eye. A single moment of misjudgment can bring down a mighty hunter or cost the herd one of its own. When cunning predators meet the united force of these massive grazers, the outcome remains uncertain. Will the calculated strategy of the lions prevail, or will the fierce unity of the dark giants reshape the balance of the wild? As the first light of dawn spreads across the vast and dry plains of Africa, a dark and powerful presence moves steadily across the horizon. It is not a shadow drifting through the morning haze, but a herd of Cape buffalo advancing together. Their massive curved horns give them a commanding presence, making them one of the most formidable groups in the natural world. The African buffalo Synchorus kaffir is a large herbivore of remarkable strength. An adult male can approach a weight of nearly a ton. Its body is protected by thick skin and sparse hair that ranges from dark gray to deep black, resembling a rugged armor shaped by millions of years of evolution. Yet the most intimidating feature for any predator lies at the top of its head. The horns of the Cape buffalo are not only long and sweeping, they meet at the center of the skull, forming a dense bony shield known as the boss. This solid structure acts as a natural defense capable of absorbing powerful impacts and even lifting an attacker weighing several hundred kilograms. For this reason, the herd is often compared to living horns of steel, a symbol of the defensive strength that emerges from unity. Unlike many other hoofed animals, Cape buffalo maintain an exceptionally tight social structure. They live in herds that may range from a few dozen individuals to several hundred. But even such a living fortress cannot escape the constant tension of the wild. Hidden within the tall grass, golden shapes remain motionless, blending perfectly with the landscape. A group of lionesses watches in silence, studying every movement of the herd they have been following with patient focus. Suddenly, the wind shifts, carrying the scent of the buffalo across the dry air. One individual slows and drifts slightly away from the group. For a brief moment, vulnerability appears. The signal is unmistakable. Without a roar or warning, powerful bodies burst from the grass, sprinting forward with explosive speed. In seconds, the distance collapses. Yet confronted by the herd's unity and formidable defense, the lionesses are forced to abandon the attempt. The retreat happens quietly, but the outcome is clear. As the savanna gradually moves deeper into the dry season, the Cape buffalo continue their journey across the open land. They are not hunters yet. Their presence is a reminder that survival in the wild does not depend only on claws or fangs, but often on the strength of collective defense. When danger fades even briefly, the rhythm of the herd shifts toward the next stage of the natural cycle. The breeding season begins. Within the herd, adult males become increasingly aggressive. They challenge one another in displays of raw strength, lowering their heads, locking horns, and pushing with all their weight to overpower a rival. These confrontations rarely end in death, but they are enough to establish dominance and determine which males will earn the chance to mate with the females. After mating, the females carry their calves through a long gestation period that lasts close to a full year. With the arrival of the next rainy season, the young are born and carefully protected within the heart of the herd. Across the African savanna, life continues with patience and resilience, guided by an ancient rhythm that has endured for thousands of years. And even as the horns of steel gradually fade into the drifting clouds of dust, the story of the savanna moves forward, endless and untamed. In another region of the savanna, where the low grass stretches endlessly toward the horizon, a new day begins for another remarkable family of the African ecosystem. This is the realm of the African wild dogs. Known scientifically as Lycaon pictus, this species does not survive alone. Its true strength lies in the pack, an intricate social unit governed by cooperation and a highly organized structure. Each individual carries a uniquely patterned coat of mottled colors. No two patterns are identical, forming natural markings that act like fingerprints, allowing pack members to recognize one another even during the chaos of a hunt. The pack is rarely still. These predators are built for life on the open plains, relying entirely on speed, stamina, and flawless coordination. Unlike lions, which often depend on stealth and sudden ambush, African wild dogs pursue their prey across long distances, gradually wearing them down through relentless endurance. Every hunt becomes a powerful display of teamwork. Within the pack's social order, only one dominant pair is allowed to breed. The remaining members suppress their own reproductive instincts, dedicating their efforts to the strength and survival of the group. When the pups are born, the entire pack shares responsibility for their care. Adult hunters return from the plains and feed the young by regurgitating food, an uncommon behavior among carnivores. Yet despite this remarkable cooperation, life for African wild dogs is far from peaceful in the vast and demanding world of the savannah. Across the savannah, constant vigilance is essential. African wild dogs must remain alert to the presence of hyenas, their long-standing rivals. Hyenas are physically stronger and often appear in greater numbers, frequently attempting to steal freshly captured prey. Encounters between these two species are common, filled with tension, and neither side gives ground easily. Despite the constant dangers, the wild dog family continues its relentless journey. Hunting across the plains, moving from one territory to another and safeguarding the next generation. In a landscape where survival is tested every single day, their greatest advantage remains the unity of the pack. In such an unforgiving environment, true power does not come from a single animal. It emerges from complete cooperation, where the strength of the group becomes the very foundation of survival. From across the open plains comes a sound that is impossible to mistake, a rough, unsettling laugh that cuts through the stillness of the savannah. It signals the presence of one of Africa's most successful predators. The spotted hyena, Crocuta crocuta, lives in large clans governed by surprisingly complex social systems. Unlike many other carnivores, their society is dominated by females. They are larger, more assertive, and control both access to food and the right to reproduce. Within the clan, every individual understands its exact position in the hierarchy. Far from being simple scavengers, spotted hyenas are highly capable hunters able to bring down antelope, zebras, and even young or weakened Cape buffalo. Their extraordinarily powerful jaws allow them to crush bones and consume nearly every part of a carcass. This efficiency often places them in direct conflict with other predators. They frequently steal kills from cheetahs, challenge lions, and regularly confront African wild dogs, their major competitors across the savannah. Their effectiveness grows even greater after sunset, when they become especially active under the cover of darkness. Within the African ecosystem, hyenas perform a vital role. By consuming remains and clearing carcasses, they help recycle life back into the land. Although they are often portrayed as villains of the wild, they are essential to maintaining the natural balance. In a landscape where death is never far away, hyenas endure as some of the most resilient survivors, not because of appearance alone, but through remarkable adaptation and the disciplined strength of their clan society. As the dry season advances, the Alliance of Cape Buffalo, often called the Horns of Steel, has little choice but to keep moving. Familiar watering holes have shrunk into scattered pools, and patches of green grass appear only in small, distant fragments across the plains. The herd's pace slows, its formation stretches out, and fatigue becomes visible in every heavy step. In this unforgiving savannah movement, always carries risk. This time, the watchers are in no hurry. Near one of the last remaining water sources, another pride of lions lies in wait. It is a place where prey must eventually arrive. Hidden in the shade, they remain perfectly still, patient and focused, waiting for the precise moment. When the horns of steel enter the critical zone, the herd's structure begins to loosen. One buffalo, weakened by the long journey, starts to fall slightly behind. The gap is small, but on the savannah, even the smallest separation can be decisive. The attack unfolds with sudden force as lions surge forward from multiple directions. The chase ends quickly. This time, fortune does not favor the buffalo. The herd pauses briefly in complete silence. There are no ceremonies, no lingering farewells. On the African savannah, life allows little time for mourning. The rest of the herd turns and continues its march, leaving death behind as an unavoidable part of an ancient journey. For the lions, it is the reward for patience, precision, and the discipline of a carefully planned hunt. In the distance, the ground begins to tremble with slow, rhythmic vibrations. A herd of African elephants is approaching. The African elephant, Loxodonta africana, is the gentle giant of the continent. These massive animals travel in close family groups led by the oldest female, the matriarch guardian of the herd's collective memory. She carries knowledge of ancient pathways, hidden water sources, and safe territories, wisdom passed down through generations. In a landscape that is constantly changing, this memory is essential for survival. Elephant herds maintain remarkably strong social bonds. The calves remain protected at the center of the group, surrounded by attentive adults. When danger threatens, the elephants quickly form a defensive circle, their tusks facing outward toward the threat. Few predators are capable of challenging such a powerful barrier. For most of the day, however, elephants focus on feeding. A single adult may consume hundreds of kilograms of vegetation every day. By pushing over trees, breaking shrubs, and digging into the earth in search of water, elephants reshape the landscape in natural ways. The watering holes they uncover or create often become critical lifelines for many other species during the dry season. Even the paths they carve through dense vegetation gradually become routes used by countless animals across the savanna. During the harshest months of drought, their influence becomes even more evident. Elephants function as true engineers of the ecosystem. By opening spaces in wooded areas, they help prevent the savanna from turning entirely into forest, maintaining the delicate balance between grassland and trees wherever they roam. Through their presence, many forms of life find the chance to endure. As evening approaches, the herd pauses near a low-lying area where water still remains. They coat themselves in cooling mud and stand quietly together. In the vast African savanna, where countless hunts unfold and losses are inevitable, elephants remain enduring symbols of memory, unity, and the lasting strength of the natural world. Beneath the murky, seemingly tranquil waters, massive shapes rest almost motionless. A group of African hippos lies submerged in the shallow edges of a river. The cool water helps them endure the intense heat and shields their thick, sensitive skin from the harsh midday sun. Only their eyes, ears, and nostrils rise above the surface, quietly observing everything that unfolds around them. Despite their slow and heavy appearance, hippos maintain strict control over their territory. Each stretch of river or isolated pool is dominated by a powerful male. He patrols, constantly displaying his immense size and opening his enormous jaws as a warning. Armed with long, tusk-like teeth and extraordinary biting strength, hippos rank among the most dangerous animals in Africa during daylight hours. Direct confrontations are not frequent. Most of the time, individuals settle disputes with subtle pushes beneath the water, quietly defining boundaries and maintaining distance. Calves swim close beside their mothers, and when the water deepens or danger is sensed, they climb onto their backs. The entire group remains largely still, conserving energy for the long hours of activity that come after sunset. Occasionally, an unfamiliar male drifts too close to the edge of the territory. The dominant bull responds with a deep roar released beneath the water, sending ripples across the surface. The message is unmistakable. The territory is already claimed. Under the blazing midday sun, the hippos remain nearly motionless, blending into the quiet landscape of the river. The scene appears calm, yet beneath the stillness lies constant tension shaped by power and territorial defense on the African savannah. Even the most peaceful moments conceal a force ready to emerge. Today, the struggle for survival across the savannah continues, though the context is gradually changing. The ancient rhythms of nature, predation, migration, reproduction, and competition are no longer influenced only by rain or drought, but increasingly by the growing presence of human activity. Dawn on the African savannah does not signal peace. It marks the first warning of a new day. As sunlight spreads across the cracked earth, every creature begins another race against time, where survival is measured with every breath. Through the grassland, still veiled in a thin morning mist, a sleek figure moves with careful precision. It is the cheetah Acinonyx jubatus, the fastest land mammal on Earth. Its long, aerodynamic body, deep chest, slender legs, and non-retractable claws form the perfect design for speed. In only a few seconds, it can exceed 100 kilometers per hour, an acceleration powerful enough to overtake nearly any unsuspecting antelope. But today, the hunt is not for itself alone. This mother hunts for her young. Beneath the quiet shade of an acacia bush, 3 cheetah cubs rest, barely 3 months old. Their spotted coats are only beginning to take shape. For them, each day presents a challenge, not only to survive, but to learn the skills that will one day make them hunters. The mother never strays far from the den. In a single morning, she must locate prey, bring it down, and return before the sun climbs high into the sky, before hyenas, lions, or even large birds of prey detect the vulnerable cubs. Suddenly, the wind shifts and she freezes instantly. Ahead of her, a herd of Thompson's gazelles grazes peacefully, still unaware of the danger nearby. The cheetah lowers her body, advancing with steps as light as drifting air. Her ears remain alert, her eyes fixed on a single target. A young gazelle that has wandered slightly away from the group. The moment arrives. From the tall grass, the mother launches forward like a living arrow. Dust rises into the air, a brief cry breaks the silence, and the chase is over within seconds. With careful vigilance, the mother lifts the prey and carries it back toward the den. Her head raised and every sense alert to the faintest sound. Even the smallest movement could reveal her presence, signaling that a hyena has caught the scent. But today, the savannah remains quiet. When she arrives, she lays the prey gently on the ground. The three cubs hurry forward, still clumsy as they attempt to bite and feed. Yet safety is never guaranteed. Even a single meal can vanish if a pack of hyenas discovers the trail. In the wild, where every sound may signal danger, speed is more than an advantage, it is a lifeline. And it is motherhood that transforms that speed into an unstoppable force. Far away in another corner of the savannah, the ground begins to tremble beneath the slow footsteps of gentle giants. Beneath the relentless sun of the African savannah. While many predators retreat to the shade, one silent figure continues to move through the landscape, leaving almost no trace. It is the leopard, the most solitary and mysterious of the great cats. High on the branch of an old acacia tree, a female leopard remains perfectly still. Her golden coat, patterned with dark rosettes, blends with the shifting light filtering through the leaves. This apparent calm hides a predator built for precision. Her body is compact and powerful, her limbs flexible and agile, and her sharp, retractable claws remain sheathed until the exact moment they are needed. Strong jaws and acute sense of smell, and above all eyes capable of detecting the smallest movement even in low light, make her a quiet and formidable hunter. Unlike lions, which rely on the strength of the pride, or cheetahs, which depend on speed, the leopard survives through independence. Solitude is her strategy. Each female maintains her own territory, often spanning dozens of square kilometers. Within it, she hunts, rests, and raises her young without assistance. Not far away, hidden beneath a dense bush, lies her most precious responsibility, cubs only a few weeks old. Their tiny bodies, soft coats, and barely formed spots reveal how completely they depend on their mother. With wide eyes, clumsy movements, and no hunting instincts yet developed, they are extremely vulnerable. During the first months of life, the cubs rarely leave the den. Each day, the mother departs to hunt, leaving them alone, silent and still. Their only protection is perfect camouflage and the certainty that she will return. On the savannah, even silence can mean the difference between life and death. When the sun reaches its highest point, the leopard senses that the moment has come. She descends from the tree, her flexible body slipping through the vegetation without disturbing a single leaf. Ahead, a herd of impalas grazes calmly. These antelope are swift and vigilant, capable of leaping nearly 10 meters in a single bound. When fleeing danger, their senses finely tuned to detect the slightest threat. Even the smallest mistake could ruin everything. The leopardess presses her body close to the ground. Her padded paws move forward without the slightest sound, each step carefully measured. She selects her target, a young impala that has drifted slightly away from the herd. The wind favors her approach and no alarm is raised. Then in a fraction of a second, she launches from the ground in a sudden burst of strength and precision. The impala reacts too late. It tries to flee, but the distance has already vanished. A powerful strike followed by a fatal bite to the throat ends the pursuit. The entire event unfolds in mere seconds. Without delay, the leopardess drags the prey toward a nearby tree and with her remarkable climbing ability lifts the carcass high into the branches far beyond the reach of hyenas or lions. From her elevated refuge, she feeds first and leaves the remaining meat secured above. Soon after, she returns to where her cubs are hidden. Before reaching them, she releases a soft, low call, part signal, part reassurance. One of the cubs emerges from the vegetation and clumsily rubs against her legs, still fragile but safe. Under the relentless sun of the savannah, the leopardess remains a master of silence. She moves like a living shadow across a harsh land. And beyond that, she is a resilient mother, guiding the next generation with skill, instinct, and unwavering dedication. Beneath the unforgiving sun of the African savannah, a lioness lies quietly in the shade of a bush. At her side, 3 tiny cubs curl close together, sleeping in rhythm with her steady breathing. They are only a few weeks old, fragile, so their eyes not yet fully open and completely dependent on their mother's protection. Although lions are the only great cats that live in social groups, a female often separates from the pride after giving birth. This temporary isolation is a vital strategy to protect her cubs from numerous dangers, hyenas, leopards, and even unfamiliar male lions. If a new male takes control of the pride, he may attempt to eliminate existing cubs to bring the females back into breeding condition. Faced with such threats, the lioness becomes a fierce defender willing to confront even members of her own species to safeguard her young. Once the cubs grow stronger, the mother gradually leads them back to the pride. From that moment on, raising the young becomes a shared responsibility. The lionesses cooperate closely, nursing the cubs, guarding them, and taking turns keeping watch. It forms a powerful network of maternal care built on instinct and cooperation. A lioness is far more than a skilled hunter. She is also a guardian, a nurturer, and a teacher to the next generation of the wild. Within her lies strength, strategy, and an unbreakable determination that nothing in the savannah can easily overcome. And so another chapter closes in the relentless struggle for life on the African savannah. In this unforgiving land, there are no permanent champions. The hunter that walks with confidence today may become the prey tomorrow. A single stumble, a delayed reaction, or a brief moment of overconfidence can instantly reverse the roles. The savannah shows no mercy for mistakes. Every encounter leaves unseen scars across the landscape and lasting marks on those who survive. Here, strength without caution can become a fatal flaw. And courage without strategy may lead to defeat. Even the most feared predators learn that power is fragile and that survival is always uncertain. In this wild world, survival is never guaranteed. It is a constant test. A quiet lesson written in endurance and instinct, where every sunrise offers another chance. And every sunset reminds all who live here that on the African savannah, safety is never permanent. If you want to continue exploring these real stories of extreme survival, like the video, subscribe, and join us on Beast Call Nature, where the natural world reveals its most raw, powerful, and unforgettable moments.